Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP's ex is now living a miserable life. Let's begin. She cheated on me while I was in the hospital. Posted by Reddit user Numerous Attitude.
I'm 35 and this is one time I was cheated on by 37-year-old female. When I was in my mid-20s, I had a girlfriend that I thought was amazing. Now there were some red flags that I chose to ignore, being how I'm not perfect myself. I'm not really gonna go into those red flags, being how they aren't important to the story. One day we got an argument and I decided to spend a few days at my house just to rethink everything. On the second day she called me up demanding I go over there to her house to talk. Reluctantly I agreed and got in my truck to head over. Now it was winter in the northern central states where we were living. My truck hit some black ice and slid into the ditch, causing it to flip multiple times. I do have pictures of the truck after the crash if anyone's interested. I can find a way to post them. While I was in the hospital, she was blowing up my phone. I was unaware of this being on my phone was in the truck somewhere. When I got out of the hospital, I contacted her, explained what happened, and she seemed just concerned about how I was doing. She did ask about if I got any of my messages, which I told her the truth that I lost my phone in the crash and had no clue where it was or what happened to it. She sounded relieved. I just assumed she might have said some things out of anger that I never showed up. Wow, was I wrong. It was 3 days before I got access to my truck. In that time, she was nothing but caring and concerned about how I was doing. Honestly, it was the nicest I have ever seen her. After seeing that side, I thought she could be the one. I see how old arguments were over just petty things, but this was the real her. At least until I finally got to my wrecked truck and was able to find my phone. Once I charged my phone, I got all her messages, including the ones where, since I was too good to show up, she was going to call a real man that would. Plus the messages of everything she did with said real man. I think she missed her calling as an author, being how she left nothing to the imagination. When I confronted her about this, you would think she'd apologize. Instead, she only apologized that it happened while I was in the hospital, but refused to acknowledge she did anything wrong. We've since split up, obviously. My sisters still remain friends with her. I remain friends with her on Facebook and enjoy little updates about her abusive husband, how CPS took her children, her drug problems. As for me, this is not my worst relationship. I've had ones before and after that I've been as bad if not worse. I'm in my mid-30s now. I no longer choose to date. I do still hold women in high regards. My choice not to date anymore does not mean I have anything against women. So please don't post anything bashing them. I just happen to be drawn to some really bad ones, just like some women are drawn to terrible men. This should not be used against the rest.
OP, instead of just deciding not to date, maybe you should try and figure out exactly why you are attracted to these types of women. Keep an eye out for someone that isn't who you would usually go for. But OP, trust me, dating in today's day and age, you're not missing much. In fact, I would make the argument that in most cases, dating for men is a liability in 2023. But if you're feeling horny, well, go to your favorite bar and impress some random girl there. Or just hire an escort. And now for today's second story. I started dating a girl for 3 months. It turns out she has 2 boyfriends already. Posted by Reddit user Luther Atya.
So this kind of absurd, but instructive story covers around 5 months of actions. First of all, I know this girl from our school. We shared some glances, but we didn't initiate anything, mainly because I was talking to someone already, and I like to stay loyal even in the talking stage. First, she asked for my Instagram and Facebook through a common friend of ours. After we stopped talking with this other girl, I decided to give it a shot. After 2 months of following me on Instagram, she asked this friend to my Snap. This made me clear that she had interest. I texted her and we quickly became close to each other since we shared a hell of a lot of common interests. She claimed that she had anxiety and is really shy and introverted, which was honestly fine because I could keep my 3-month rule and she could open up and get comfortable with me with time. We talked whenever we had free time, mainly by sending snap pics and writing our conversations on it, which kept it more interesting over time, without having to meet in person. She seemed just perfect and everything that I was looking for. Some things were off almost by the start though, which I completely ignored like a real idiot. She did not want to meet in the first month, and she blamed it on her anxiety. I had anxiety too, and since I overcame it, I decided that I'll be patient with her. It eventually developed into an I can fix her attitude, which we all know how usually ends. She also posted some nasty gory shit on Tumblr and texts about self-sabotaging and things like this. I thought her mental health is bad because of watching these things all day and spending way too much time on social media. Eventually, after 1.5 months, she overcame her anxiousness around me and we met up pretty often in the school. I was pretty into her already, but after 1.5 months of talking, we could not have any other topic other than sexual stuff. She was no way vanilla, I'm not either, so we had quite a lot of spicy things to discuss, which we did, in very disturbing details. We also sent explicit TikToks and Instagram pics to each other and a lot of sexy pics too, but no nudity. She was only interested in this topic, and if I tried to talk with her about something else, she shook it off and vanished for that day. Almost 2 months in, she sent a thigh pic and said that she craves sex. But this time, I actually wanted to settle with someone, not just to have fun, and am a high-value man. So I decided to keep the 3 months rule, and told her that 1 more month, babe, and I'll rip you apart, respectfully, but we have to be patient, and have to be officially together. Now, after this, she gave mixed signals, although she stated multiple times that she is only interested long-term. Then, she began reposting things like I'm not made for relationships and he thinks I'm obsessed with him. But I have 6 guys. She blamed these on her BPD and said that she just found these TikToks interesting. Now, she is the typical obsessive girl with daddy issues and as I mentioned, BPD. Sadly, I have something for these Delulu women.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
So detaching was hard, but I'm not someone who will tolerate disrespect. So we argued a lot. At this point, we were not in a relationship officially, but kinda acted like we are. But she needed more time for one, which was pretty funny, because for a nice and profound sex she was readier than ever. Also, there were rumors about her in her class having other dudes, which she claimed were false of course, because she was almost virgin. What the hell does that even mean? I was so ready to leave at this point. She also had a guy friend who I once saw trying to hold her hand. And she was just there, enjoying the show. I told her that she can decide, him or me. She eventually blocked this friend, but I think for a different reason, which I could not figure out. The breaking point was a day, 3 months in dating, when a friend of mine sent me a screenshot of her sitting in another dude's car, holding her hand, and with a quote like forever together or some shit. It was only her lower body that was visible, but we recognized her instantly. I didn't want to believe my eyes, although I was already suspicious. I was not sad at all. I only felt terrible disgust and rage. But I was the one ignoring the red flags. And if you decide to sail the 7 seas with a ship decorated entirely by red flags, don't be surprised if you wreck with it. I confronted her about it. She did not reply, so I was 100% sure it was her indeed. Turns out, after we were 1 month into the talking stage, she got with this dude, which she was seeing while being too anxious to meet with me. But wait, it gets better. I found out from another friend of mine that she has a boyfriend of almost a year, who she was seeing too. We were like an idiotic version of the 3 fucking musketeers. And remember the guy friend I mentioned earlier? It turns out that she sex chatted with her too. All those times when she was learning for college and working out, she was actually spending time entertaining 3 other dudes. And these are the ones I know about. God knows how many of us were there. I took some 40 screenshots, blocked her, and sent it to both of her boyfriends. As far as I know, the 1-year guy broke up with her, but the other one forgave her this little incident. Good for him. But once a cheater, always a cheater. Good luck on their relationship. Now, first I didn't want to share this story, but it was a really valuable lesson. First, forced exclusivity is not loyalty. Most people are loyal to their options, not people. If you want something serious, look for someone who loves you, not someone who loves how you make them feel. If someone is truly in love, she will talk about you when they are asked about love, and not only about themselves. Second of all, if someone can't love themselves, they can't fully commit and love you. They will most likely only stay till the spark is present. And what comes too easily will be lost easily eventually. So, this is how the 3-month rule saved me from a heartbreak. But most importantly, not every woman is like this. Don't lose yourself after a heartbreak, neither your hope. There are still genuine people out there looking for something that is real. Just invest time into looking for them. All of the things above are meant without judgment. Peace.
Here's another valuable lesson for you, young man. Don't date women with mental health issues. Sure, I get it. I've experienced it myself. Girls like them are really freaky in the bedroom, and that every time you have sex, it will always be an interesting experience. But that's not really worth it now, is it? Of course not, because after you have sex, now that you have post-nut clarity, you will quickly realize that they're really annoying. Stop trying to be in a relationship with these types of women. They're only good for one thing, and I believe you already know what that is. Lastly, OP, stop declaring yourself as a high-value man. You're 18, you're in school, you're broke, and you chase girls with daddy issues. No, you're not. Here, I'll even use a language that you understand really well. That's cringe, bro. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.